So let's return to the air crash, the Air India crash at Ahmedabad. That's in Gujarat province. It's just north of Mumbai, going towards the Pakistan border. Shocking scenes. I'm joined now by Patrick Christys of GB News London because, of course, this flight was bound for Britain. Patrick, what can you tell us?
Okay, so the flight is a Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner. As far as I can see, it's the first 787 that has ever crashed. It's carrying 242 people on it, all bound for an airport just a few miles away from where I'm sitting now. 230 passengers and 12 crew members. The video that I've seen, it appears to just lose power. And then from what locals on the ground are saying on social media, it's crashed into a construction site, but it is a very heavily and densely populated area that it has crashed into. It does seem as though maybe it's managed to avoid the worst of the kind of housing estates. There are some aviation experts that are just a bit confused about what's gone on here, because the quote that I've seen is that at about 1 minute after takeoff, which is when this plane crashed, the planes really should be almost flying themselves, which is quite confusing as to why it's come down. Nobody has ruled in or out terrorism or any kind of evil intent. We don't want to speculate too much there. From the video that I've seen, it does look more like a loss of power. That airport itself, I was having a look at, there's about 250 flights a day from Ahmedabad airport, several to the UK. It's about 9 hours, 45-minute direct flight. So it was due to land this evening here in Britain. I've got a statement for you from Gatwick Airport. They say, we can confirm that flight AI 171 that crashed on departure from Ahmedabad Airport today was due to land at Gatwick Airport at 6 p.m. local time here. They said there's more information to follow. It's a confusing picture at the moment. I do have to be realistic. I think most people who've seen the pictures will also understand this. We're not necessarily expecting there to be any survivors, unfortunately. It would be miraculous if there were. We hope there are, but that's where we're up to at the moment. Gatwick, I mean, the airport here is not suspended all flights or anything. It's just appeared to be very much a problem at India's end, really, when it comes to this. But yeah, and also, Andrew, it's worth pointing out as well, sorry, it is, we don't know what's happened here, but it is another disaster for Boeing. They've had several disasters in the past for a variety of different reasons, not all of them their fault, but pains to say. There was a problem with a different type of plane that they had, the 737, which this plane isn't. But of course, now you hear the word Boeing and you see something like this, and some people will be wondering what's going on, really.
Yes, they've had a terrible time. They just had some record orders in May, so they seem to be getting out of it. And now this, of course, as you say, it's far too early to speculate what were the cause, but it did seem there to lose power. And if it is a mechanical issue, wow, that's woof. Anyway, but the real tragedy right now is the lives lost and all those people in Britain who are waiting to see their relatives or friends come back from India. I mean, oh my goodness.
Sorry to go across you, Andrew, but that's a really good point there, actually, because we have a huge Indian community here in Great Britain. And in fact, just down the road from where I live now is a place called Harrow. Further on to that is a place called Southall. Massive Indian communities. So people who are, either born in India or have relatives, etc. There will be so many people currently in England who are worrying about their relatives, about their friends, desperately trying to get in touch with them as well. So it's incredibly concerning times for a lot of Britain's Indian population at the moment.
Right. Oh my goodness. All right, we'll have more during the night on this tragedy as news comes to hand, news and vision. Patrick, can I just ask you about something? We've seen the riots in America caused by supporters of illegal immigration. It's also turning immigration Britain into a tinderbox. You just had riots in Northern Ireland after alleged sexual assault blamed on boys who needed a Romanian interpreter. The context is, of course, of deep concern about mass immigration, especially the tens of thousands of illegal boat people sailing into Britain this year. Now, you had your Prime Minister actually say he was going to do something about it. He hasn't, not that I can see. But you have been able to do something after you got in touch with a people smuggler who was touting for business on the internet. Let's have a look at the ad that you saw. No, we haven't got that. You set it up. You left you a message on the phone, Patrick, to come and join him at a particular place. You get you over to Britain. What happened next?
Exactly. So if you just go on one of these things on TikTok, you will be able to find human traffickers who are operating around northern France, trying to get people illegally into Britain. So I contacted some of those people. Then they moved the conversation onto WhatsApp, which meant that I then got their personal number, which means that police and authorities can track them. They quoted me a price to get across the English Channel, 1,500 euros, by the way. So it's not particularly expensive. That price has gone down significantly. So there you go. We had their voices on record. We had everything on record. And they even on maps pinpointed the exact location to us about where the boats were taking off and when they would be taking off. Now, we did that with not one, but two illegal migrant gangs. And we've handed all of that information over to British law enforcement and to the French authorities. The point here being, Andrew, is that we have a lot of rhetoric from our politicians about wanting to stop the small boat crossings. We had 400 people yesterday alone cross the English Channel. And I, having been there myself and seen it with my own eyes, I'm convinced they are not doing everything they can. And with the best will in the world, if me sitting in my room here can track down, can get you the names, the information and evidence you would need for a prosecution, their voice on record, their identity, and the exact location of where they are and what they're doing and when they're doing it, and I can do that from here, why on earth can't the government or law enforcement do the same?
Yeah, I'm afraid because we had all those other grabs that we lost the ones from your show. If people want to see them, go to Patrick Christys on X. And you'll see an excellent report by Patrick, which is just blowing the lid off this stuff. Patrick Christys, thank you so much for jumping in, giving us the latest on the tragedy as well. Really appreciate your time.